So I have Jude. So here's what we'll do. Tell me your name and the company you own and what you guys do in your company. Okay, can we do it like that? Okay, your name, the company you own, what you guys do in the company. I think that would be a better way to go about this. So also the city that you're joining me from. Okay, so company you own, the city you're joining me from, what you guys do in your company. So let's do it that way. So I have G3W Home Limited. Isaac, what city? And what does G3 Homes Limited do? So you guys do real estate, construction, and what city? Let me see if you mentioned the city. If you can type it together in one sentence, it'll be helpful. I can see Chooks from Lagos. Chooks, Good Vine School, so Chooks own schools. Oshewa, owners of Timor Crunchies, they're into snacks, okay. What city? Oshewa. Isaac is from Plateau, Nigeria. Beautiful, beautiful. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? We have Jude Akinkwade, Startup Watch Limited, Ibadan. We provide tech-driven financial accounting services, fractional C of O services to founders and business owners to help them. Because this is a free market I'm giving you to help them. Okay, let me see what. Sorry, I've been battling with cold and flu. Owners to help them findable and for them to scale their business. Okay. Oshawa is from Osun State. I have Jesse from Abuja. Owns AZ Togs Nigeria Limited. We're into fashion and agriculture. We try to service 2 out of 3 basic needs of man. 2 out of 3 basics need of man. So fashion and food. That's good. Michael Adragbemi, Land Rights Africa. So we help investors, with farm across southwest of Nigeria, land banking purposes. Good. Findable and scalable at large. Okay, that's good. I can see as you guys are joining, just tell us your name, the city you're joining us from, the company that you run, what's your company is into. It's a quick period to do quick marketing and networking. There are other people watching who will be able to immediately know that, hey, maybe they need your services, they can easily chat you up and try and see what they can do together with you. Who else do we have? Your name, what you do, and the city your company is based. I want to welcome all of you. So just as an intro, some of you must have been aware, I've been away in Harvard University, finished last weekend, the parts unit 1 of the OPM program. OPM stands for Owner President's Management Program. And it's been a life transforming experience for me. And I just felt I will start some debriefing with our leaders as well. But rather than be selfish and I only do the debriefing with those who, are part of our organization, why not make it open to my mentees that I mentor as well? And we could select a few other people to give them the opportunity to be part of it as well. And that is why this is being put together. Now, this is very simple. To be part of this, I'm setting up a community for this because it's not something I can achieve just in one day. Okay. So it's not something I can achieve in one day at all. And we're trying to make sure that this is long term, right? This is not short term. It's something long term, it's something transformational for everyone, and that is involved. And we can go beyond just today. A lot of time people think quick fix, we all like this quick fix, but nothing great, okay, is ever done by quick fix. You cannot change your company overnight. I think one of our professors was emphasizing that you cannot change the companies overnight. You can't start a company today and then you're tired of the way it runs, and then you think in just one sweep move you will change it. No. In fact, there are some things I learned that I'm not going to execute until 6 months from now. There are some I'm not going to execute until 1 year from now. Okay. So understanding phasing of change, and we call this change management, is very, very critical. Because sometimes we want to change organizations, but we want it quick, we want it too fast. And it's been one of the reasons why companies fail. So, a few questions before we start part one of today. How many of you here own your businesses? You're the owner of your business. Okay, if you are the owner of your business, can you, indicate that is you founded your business, you are the founder of the business? Anybody here? Just type I'm the founder, because you have owner managed business, okay, and non-owner managed business. I hope you know that. So there are businesses where the owner is the one managing it, the founder manages. There are some business that it's not the founder that manages it. Somebody else came in and is running the business for them. Okay, so I can see a few of us who are founders. So we started the business. Beautiful, because this program was also for those of us who founded the business. There is another one for those who didn't found the business but run the business. It's called AMP in Harvard. And I encourage you guys to one day aspire, as soon as you can afford it, to one day aspire to do programs like this, honestly, because it's really, really life-changing and very, very transformational. So it's something I will categorically advise that you work towards being part of one day in future. Highly recommended. The next question I want to ask, how many of us here are doing at least $100,000 annual turnover? Your business is doing at least $100,000 annual turnover. Anyone? Your business is at least doing $100,000 annual turnover. Now, let me put this, very important. You must be careful at what phase you attract certain mentors. And what am I saying? If you attract some mentors too early, they will speak over your head. And the danger of that is also that what they are saying, first of all, is not something you can use immediately. And if you're not careful, you also begin to battle with low self-esteem, because it makes, instead of what it's really meant to do, it eventually defeats its purpose. So when you see some of us ask questions and we try to categorize, we're not segregating, we're not underrating. We're just trying to know who are those who are ready for certain kind of things. I'll give you an example. This OPM program, it cost $150,000 for the 3 units. Each unit is 50,000. They've increased it and they're increasing every year. So if your business doesn't even do $150,000, do you see now? It's a joke to even tell you you should attend OPM. Okay, I'm just speaking over your head because you are not there yet. But there are other tools that I can offer you that fits where you are. Okay, so today I want to categorize businesses into two. Those below $100,000, those $100,000 above and those $1 million above, right? And I want you to type it in the chat box. By the way, there's nobody who will kidnap you here. Nobody has your phone number. This is a Zoom call. So relax, because a lot of us also cannot scale our business because we are scared to even know the numbers. We are scared to talk the numbers. We are scared to analyze the numbers. Okay. I used to be like that too in Africa, where I don't even know my numbers. If you ask me, what's the turnover of your business? I don't know. But sometimes it's not because I don't want to, I can't know, it's because I don't want to know. I'm scared of knowing. I don't want to accept the reality of where I am, whether because I'm where I should be or I'm below where I should be. Sometimes also we have situations where we then lose bigger opportunities because we haven't done proper rating for our businesses. So I'm waiting for everybody. I can see those, somebody says below, somebody says exactly at the 100,000 annual turnover. We're not talking about profit, turnover. Turnover is not profit. Okay, so I have two people who are below 100,000. I have one person who is exactly 100,000. Anybody, 100,000 and above, or anybody who is $1 million and above in their business. Okay, I've seen a few more 100,000 annual turnover. Okay. Okay. Please, everybody, I need your reply. Everybody should answer this question. Below. Okay. Now, so I have an assignment for all of you. If your business is currently $100,000 and below, if you're below $100,000, I want to beg you to do something. The videos are not that clear. Okay, they're not that clear. So you need to go check those videos out. But there were videos I did 10 years ago. There were videos I did 12 years ago. And I beg you, if you go to my YouTube, I'm giving the, go subscribe to those YouTube channel. They may not look good, but they have quality information. And why is it important? Because I did those videos when I was at that category. Okay, where my business, in those times, turnover was 50 million a year, 100 million a year, 200 million a year. Okay, and those was when I was doing those videos. And I think those kind of videos are more relatable than the kind of videos I do now. And this is one of the reasons why some people were angry that I had a coaching program that was charging $20,000, right? Because people weren't facing the reality that it wasn't for, right? It wasn't for certain categories of people. The program was for certain categories, and there exist. Now, how many of you, and I want you to be very honest with me, have the opinion that if your business is doing $1 million, you do not need mentorship? I want you to be very honest with me, right? It doesn't mean you're right or you're wrong. How many of you have that mindset that once my business is doing 100,000, $1 million, I don't need any mentorship. I don't need anybody to help me. Okay? How many of you are like that? Be honest. Because I got a lot of comments like that where I saw people say, I don't need any mentorship. Once I'm doing certain kind of volume in business, I don't need certain things. And unfortunately, I want you to write this down. Knowledge is not a destination, it's a journey. Okay? It's a journey. And no matter where you get to, you will constantly keep needing knowledge. You constantly keep needing new set of informations. You constantly need new perspective and new insights. And everyone must settle down, okay, and look for people who have results that they don't have and begin to work towards having those people help them. Okay, I'll give you an example. I used to be scared to charge the right amount of money for my services. Anybody like that? Like you're scared that, and if you come from Africa, you will be scared. I mean, if you tell me you are not scared and you didn't come, you are not from Africa. As an African, you're scared to charge the right price for your services because you're conscious of the fact that people will call you out, just like they called me out over $18,000 or $100,000, right? People will call you out. I say, can you believe what he's charging? He's insane. And so for many years, I was one of those people that will underprice myself, undervalue myself, right? And it was just because my mind is, they must not even hear I'm charging this much. But I got delivered after some times. And who delivered me? Can anybody guess? You can type who you think delivered me. Who among my mentors do you think delivered me? Okay, I got delivered from being scared to charge what the value for my money. Somebody say Bishop Oyedepo. No, it wasn't Bishop Oyedepo. Yeah. Who else? Yes, Grant Cardone was the first person who delivered me from that. Okay? No, it wasn't even Grant Cardone. It wasn't even Dr. Pe. Dr. Pe. It was Grant Cardone, right? Because when I started paying Grant Cardone $25,000 for a 3-day conference, $50,000 for 1 hour, I said, look, even if you think I don't deserve certain price, at least I have paid some people. And it is out of what those people taught me, I'm teaching you. So you can't come and underprice me and still expect me to feel underpriced and still expect me to feel I shouldn't charge the right value. I will begin to charge the right value for my money. Let me share this with you guys. One of the biggest revelation I learned from my Harvard professor, um, Professor Daz, was Professor Daz said he kind of worked with several private equity firms, right? And he's had to ask many of them who, these are people who buy a company for, let's say, $5 million, right? And then they will restructure the company. And I kid you not, 5 years later, they take the company to the capital market. And the value of the company is over 2 billion, 5 billion, that kind of thing. And there are people who do this. This is what they do. And Professor Das said he then asked a few of those top guys who have done it over time, what was the one thing you did when you took over the business that made you to scale a business from $5 million, took it to the capital market and you're able to sell it for over $1 billion, but, you guys, and he said, many of them mentioned many things, said, but one thing each of them repeated was price. Everybody type price. Was price. And he said that they all said that the original founders of those businesses could have charged more than they were charging, that the consumers were willing to pay a bit more, okay, but the founders did not have the courage to charge more. And so when they bought those companies, one of the first things they did was to restructure the company to charge a little bit more. Of course, they had to introduce a few things to make it fair, to make the customer the hero, to make sure it end up looking much valuable for the customer, even though the customer is having to pay a little bit more. But those were the critical, transformational things that they did that turned their business around. And I realized that even for me, it's the same thing. I remember our head of finance recently was saying to us, he said, are you aware, sent me a message, are you aware our land business has given out over 2 billion naira in form of development levy waivers? And he was asking the question, how do we then raise the 2 billion to develop those estates? So the person buying the land, and you see, sometimes, how many of you agree with me that it's penny wise, pound foolish? Because you, the customer, you are happy that they didn't charge you for development levy. No, be so. But at the end of the day, the estate will not develop the way it should develop because they also don't have the money to develop the estate. Are we learning, guys? Are we learning? If you're learning, please type I'm learning. Okay, if you're learning, type I'm learning. So we then realize a major challenge in many companies, which is the pricing challenge. That many of us have underpriced, right? We're just looking at the volume, but we're not looking at the profit margin. How much exactly is my cost? How much is my profit? Okay, what is the ultimate amount I'm making? We're not looking at that. And we're just looking at the competitor. If I charge more than the competitor, nobody will buy. Oh, the competitor is charging lower. And we keep running those circles, and we fail to realize that it's not just about running business, it's about running a profitable business. A business that is profitable, a business that you can look back and say, yes, we make good money. And I can assure you the customer is willing to pay a little bit more. I'll share this story with you of one of those segments I have in business in Nigeria. He's into real oil and gas. I'll not mention his company name. And he invited me for the end of the year party last year, December. And he talked about how they started the year being really frustrated. The devaluation of the naira, the increase in petroleum price points, and all of those stuff. And that to God be the glory that this is the best year in the history of that, oil and gas companies. I mean, they are very known. They have filling station, they have depot, they have all of that. And only to, meet somebody who knows them. And they said they are one of the most expensive, right? Petrol station. They are not, in fact, they are the first to raise their price. They are never in the price war. So what am I saying? The year everybody struggled in the oil and gas sector, this company made so much money that he was now saying, those of you who have done 10 years in the company, we're giving you 2 million naira bonus. If you have done 5 years in the company, 1 million bonus. If you have done this, I kid you, I was at the end of the year party. For a year that everybody is saying, the year is bad, oil and gas, we struggle, it was a tough time because he wasn't messing around with the price. He was charging the fair price for his business. Are we learning here? Okay? Come on, are we learning? Ladies and gentlemen, for learning type, I'm learning. So let's get to my slide. I will start with an introduction today. I will not be able to go into full, this is something I did for over 3 weeks. I can't teach you in 1 hour. So today's class will be divided into two. I'll do something between now and 12, and I'll give you an assignment to do. And I'll give you an hour break, and then we'll come back by 1. Now, please, I'm in New York, so I'm quoting Eastern Standard Time. So 1 p.m. my time should be maybe 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Depends on what part of the world you are in. And then we'll come back by 1. I hope you will have been done with the assignment I will give you. And then in the next part I'll be doing, there will be also physical people in the class. And then we'll do part 2. Part 3, part 4, we'll agree later when to conclude it. Is that fair? Do you agree? Come on, talk to me, guys. If you agree, type I agree. Well, you don't even have a choice. Okay. So let's go. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Anyone? Okay. Everybody can see my screen. Beautiful. Like I said, I've been battling with cold and flu. Uh, um, okay. So equipping leaders with tools to scale strategically without losing culture, team strength, or operational efficiency. So let's look at the first slide. From hustle to high performance systems. From hustle to high performance systems. So this is a debrief. This is not exactly what I was taught, but just working on some of these things and quoting here and there. So I have Professor Ran, fantastic, one of the best professors we had. So looking at executing with scale and speed. Many organizations, especially during times of economic pressure, try to save money by doing less with less, cutting resources, reducing staff, demanding more output. But this is often backfire, leading to lower morale, poor service, and operational breakdown. So what's the solution? Boer's research shows that successful organizations scale by improving three critical areas instead of just slashing budget. Okay. Number one, capacity. Can we all type capacity? Capability. Everybody type capability. Okay, that's the first one. Capability. Everybody type it. Now, equip the team with the right tool and training. And some of the insights we looked at, and I think we'll soon go into it, were companies that invest so much in training. In fact, a huge chunk of their budget, over 20% of their budget, was into training. Okay. And how those companies do better than the ones who were just cutting budgets just for cutting's sake and have poor training programs. In fact, from some of this class, one of the things I've decided to do is to build a world-class real estate school starting from Nigeria. How many of you are happy about that? It was one of the decisions, and I think Mr. Adeyinka is here. I'm adding you to that, to the lecturers for that school. Okay. I'm even having my first meeting with the lecturers tomorrow. I've gotten a woman who had worked in the hospitality space. She's 66 now. She'll be the first pioneer president of the school, right? And I'm intentionally bringing, in fact, another person who is based here in California. I'm bringing people out of real estate, we only have some classes. The people who run the school day to day will not even be real estate professionals. Because I realize that there are some aspects of the real estate industry that require some people who have some high level exposure to excellence, to customer service, to hospitality to really, really run. And many practitioners in the real estate sector are just going for the money, commission, sales, making money, and are not thinking deeply about the culture of excellence, the culture of treating the customer right, and also the culture of being honest with the customer as well. Okay? If where you need to be honest with them. Okay? And so equipping your team, there's nothing that beats it. Izu, one of my very good friend and our consultant, has always shared this with me, that GTEx is the company is saying, even with banks that invest heavily on training, right? We invest more in training than many banks in Nigeria. And little wonder we grow at the pace we have grown. Okay. Number two is motivation. Inspire people with purpose and alignment. One of the biggest reasons why companies struggle is motivation. Lack of motivation. Everybody type motivation. Where you own a company and people, and Nigeria, for those of us in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, I don't know if you agree with me that this our continent sucks motivation out of people. If you agree, type I agree. Like from okay, let me ask this question. How many of you who live in Africa have had to travel back to Africa from European countries or from China? And by the time the plane landed and you're entering the Nigerian airport, you started feeling depressed. Can you type me if you have ever experienced that? I experienced it for like the first 5 years. I started traveling abroad, but I've overcome it now, right? I've overcome it now. You literally start feeling depressed. Particularly those who runs their businesses in Lagos. the road network, even being in the car on your way to work, from the traffic, from the social media. Social media now is toxic. I'm planning now to unfollow everybody, right, on social media. Okay. Right. All manner. Can you imagine? Someone says before the plan land, I started feeling depressed and sick. I mean, it can suck all the life out of you. And so imagine what this is doing to those who work in your company. Because we are founders of businesses. This course is for founders of businesses. And we're not asking ourselves, how motivated are our team? Because the causes of low motivation is not even you. It's not you, the founder. It's not always you, the company, right? There are other factors, external factors, parent demanding you have not gotten married from the ladies, right? The guys, you are the first child, you must send money home, you are the breadwinner, pressure. Other colleagues, your colleagues, I'm talking of your employees now, feeling intimidated by some of their classmates that is doing fraud on the internet and lives a larger life than they that decide to earn a honest living. Everything is demotivating those who work for you. So the question is, how do you motivate your team? How do you immune them? I'll give you one that we did at GTEx and it was effective many years ago. And I want you to come up with 5 more. So when we come back by 1 Eastern Standard Time, we'll ask question. You tell me which other 4 have you come up with. I'll give you one. So one was brought by a management consultant, which was that we should create an hostel. So today, virtually all our offices has accommodation for junior staffs or some of the staffs that are single, coppers, interns, single employees, right? We provide accommodation for them. And we realize that alone increase their motivation a bit higher. Let's get the younger ones because they are immune from the daily pressure of their parents, immune from the daily pressure society places on them, and you've created a whole new world for them. And because we then had our offices in very highbrow places, Omole Estate, Banana Island, Ikoyi. Now, the environments, now, these are some people who are living in Ajegule or Abule Egba or Songota. These are suburbs of Lagos, Nigeria, right? And these people are now able to live in highbrow society, okay? Gain certain exposure as a result of what has been done. Are we learning, guys? If you're learning type, I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay? So motivation, right, is very powerful, guys. Motivation is powerful, right? Powerful. And there's nothing that beats that. Okay? Nothing beats that. Nothing at all. I've said this over and over again. If you can just get your team motivated, if you can just control the environment for them, you have some of the best people working for you. It's not money. Sometimes we think we just increase salary. We've done that. If I will realize that after increasing staff salary, 6 months down the line, they become depressed. True story. 6 months down, how many of you noticed that? Any founder that noticed that few months after increasing staff salary, they begin to feel depressed again. Some of them even wish to get more again. I mean, you would think that increasing their salary would make them happy. I just realized they're depressed again. They're giving complaints, all over again, all over again. Uh, Okay. Number 3, license. License. Everybody type license. Number 3. License simply means give employees autonomy to make decisions and act quickly. License. one of the biggest secrets of our company that I've also realized that I always give those who work with us license. A lot of people always wonder when I tell them, oh, I'm not in charge of acquisition. Oh, talk to Shola. They'll be like, what do you mean? You own this company and you are not in charge of which land is bought. What if your staff that you send inflates the price? You know, and so many people don't even believe me when I say I'm not in charge of certain key things in our organization. Okay? I can't remember when last I determined which land we're buying. I can influence location and say, hey, head of acquisition, we need to have property in this area. Okay? But they go do the inspection, they go check out, and we have Baba Michael Kiro, who chairs our board, former IG of police, him and the team work on these things. And so many of us in Africa, we're not used to giving people license. Okay. Are we learning here? Are we learning? Okay, good. So many of us who are from Africa have not mastered how to give those who work for us license. And it's the reason why our company is not growing to the level it can grow. Are you aware? I remember one of the biggest, private television station, I won't mention their name. Something needed to happen. And they were telling me that they needed the chairman's permission. Okay? And I was quite shocked that they were needing chairman's permission. I was extremely shocked. Extremely shocked that they still needed the chairman's permission at that level. So we haven't given people license. Now, what's the cure for license? Can anybody type? Now, because we need to give people license, and we also know that license can be abused, what is the way to balance giving people license? License mean you give people range. I'll give an example of a license. Some airline have a compensation range where if the plane is overbooked, okay, and you need somebody to come down so that you can take enough people, somebody to volunteer that they will not fly with the plane, so that and that you have the license to give the client between $100 and $5,000. That's a license. So the hostess has the discretion to either give $100 voucher or $300 voucher or more. That's called license. So anyone, I want an answer. How best do you think, in your opinion, we can prevent license from being abused? So that, for example, you don't have an hostess who, anytime such happens, just goes ahead and give everybody $5,000. Will not even try to start from $100, right? And there are people like that. They will abuse license, right? You've empowered them, they abuse it totally. Anyone, come on, why are we all silent? Are we not part of this class? What can you put in place so that license is not abused? Moji says, place a limit on it. Document how. Nice. Thank you for that. Adebayo Shola says, training and creating a system for the license. Like system. Can you define the system you mean? Can you define what you mean by systems? David says, ensuring they own and share the business. Someone say monitoring and feedback. Good. That's a good one. Giving reports and accountability. That's a good one. There's a word I'm looking for. We've all mentioned good things, but there's something I'm looking for. Make them understand the purpose why they are giving license. Give them necessary limits and systems. Thank you. Someone says SOP. Creating control. SOP. Right? But more importantly, so one, create an SOP, which simply says they must start with the lowest amount. And then they now go gradually to the highest amount. That's number one. Number two, create a corporate governance structure around it. Meaning, I have offered them $100 and they are reluctant. There must be somebody that the person need to call to get an approval to then be able to offer maybe $200 or $300 is the next category, right? So create a corporate governance around the license as well. So that yes, they have the license, but it's not, and the person they are calling should not be the highest authority, right? It should be just the next supervisor, just the next person on the line. So you can create a system, create an SOP, create a corporate governance around the license, but give those who work with you license. This is discovered from my Harvard program to be one of the highest reason people stay in organization. They feel empowered. When people feel they can talk like they own the company, right? When people feel like they have authority, like, they founded the organization. When there's a sense of we, us, when the leadership is looking up to them, when you, the founder of the business, can look up to them and say, hey, I am hoping you will come up with a solution. Rather than say, hey, this is the solution. Do what I say. Do my solution. Only my solution. When people now have a sense that, look, I have some grip here. I can come up with ideas. I can come up with concept for our organization. I can bring up ideas. I can bring up something that will solve the problem of the organization. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what license is about. And this is one of the most empowering things you can do for your company. People must feel empowered. Okay, so the assignment number 2, I want us to come up with, 4 areas in your organization that you can give license and how and what the license will be. 4 areas in your organization that you're going to give license and what the license will be. Let me repeat it again. The assignment number 2, I hope we are taking notes. Who can remember assignment number 1? Can you help me type it? If you remember the first assignment, type it in the chat. What's the first assignment? Type in the chat. Okay? Kindly type it in the chat. Anybody has the... So how do you motivate your staff? So come up with 4 ways you can motivate your staff, right? Assignment number 2, come up with 4 areas in your business right now that you can create license. In 4 areas you can create license for those who work in the organization. And, how do you moderate the license? What would the license be? And every little information about the license. So I'm giving us a break now for an hour. And I hope we will have done all these assignments and we're going to be back. And when we're back, we will be doing a simple job of answering the question. Some people are already typing the answer. Land purchase. So you want to give license in land purchase. Okay. You want to give license in land purchase. In what way? How? Describe the license. Describe the limit of the license. Describe the SOP of the license. Right? So that's how it works. Assignment number 1, 4 ways to motivate your staff. 4 ways to motivate those who work for you. Okay? So we're hoping we'll all come back with the assignment in the next 1 hour. Now, do we think we probably need to create a WhatsApp group so that we all can we can follow up each other? Once we are back, everybody knows we are back and all that. Do we know? Because in the next 1 hour, while you guys are doing your assignment, I'm on my way from New York, Manhattan to New Jersey, where the second part will be holding. And I have a group of 50 people that will be joining us physically in the part 2 of this class. Okay. Somebody said, I think WhatsApp is okay. Okay, good. IT, is that Jam you there? IT, can you please create a WhatsApp group and drop it now for everybody to join? So please don't leave this Zoom link. Don't leave this Zoom link until you get the WhatsApp group and you are able to join the WhatsApp group. Once you join the WhatsApp group, now you can leave, okay? Okay, so see you in the next by 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I look forward to a very fantastic time with you guys for part 2 of this lecture. And when we're done part 2, we can agree on when next we'll continue part 3, because obviously I can't finish, in the short time we have. It's a journey. It's not something that we can end in just one time. It has to be a journey. Um, IT, what are you waiting for? Can you drop the Zoom, the WhatsApp link, please? IT. IT, can you unmute yourself and tell us why there's a delay? ITO, are you not here? Jessica or Mr. Onifade, can you call Jamie, please?
Good day, everyone. My name is Jamil. Thank you for being in the class so far. So I'm dropping the WhatsApp group link on the chat now so everyone can join the group. So give me a minute, please. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I've dropped the WhatsApp group on it, so everyone can join now. Can you all see the WhatsApp group link?